Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Monica. I like to post anti-MLMs, that's anti-multi-level marketing, and some true crime content here on this channel. So if any of that interests you, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I would love for you to stick around. In today's video, I am bringing you anti-MLM content, so of course, just as a disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only and just my opinions. Today, we're going to be reacting to a pharmacy rep. I have not talked about pharmacy on my channel yet, at least I don't think so, but they are one of these makeup MLM companies, so keep that in mind as we go over what the rep is saying in this video. Along with that, I did cut out a little bit of the beginning of the rep's video because in the beginning it had nothing to do with really the, I guess you could say, the anti-MLM portion, and it was more of just like a, I guess you could say like a life update for her friends and family or her followers that follow her on Instagram. This is one of those Instagram TV type videos. So we're gonna go over certain things, of course. Some of the personal information that she gives in here is part of her why. So that is why I wanted to kind of show this, because I mean, she does have a very inspirational story, just like some of the other reps that I have shown on this channel. And so that's why I kind of wanted to show it. These uplines, these MLM reps, they use their stories as a way to reel you in. So that is something that I wanted to kind of highlight today. And yeah, so I guess without further ado, let me scooch over. Ugh, as usual, it's getting very hard to scooch over with this belly. But anyway, let's just get into this rep's video.
6 years ago, we moved from kind of the area that we're in right now to my husband's hometown and spent 6 years there for his job. And then in August, he unexpectedly lost his job, which turned out to be just such a huge blessing, which is the craziest thing that you would ever say, like as a wife, as a mom, like, right? Like who says like, oh, my husband losing his job was awesome. Like that's not a thing that people usually say, but, you know, I felt that shift coming for a while, and I even told him actually the night before he lost his job. I had told him, I said, babe, I don't know why. I just feel this shift is something's going to change in our life, something big soon, and I don't know what it is. And we had been house shopping in the area because we were like super dedicated and committed, and had even put in an offer on a home at one point on a really sweet house. And it did not get accepted, which turned out to be also a blessing. I'm telling you guys, everything in life is a blessing or a lesson. You win or you learn. Things happen for you, not to you. At the time when we didn't get the offer accepted on that house where we were, I was like, oh, why'd that happen to us? And then looking back, it happened for us.
So as she was saying, this actually happened to my husband and I recently because we have been house shopping. We have been looking at homes and everything. I'll agree with her that things happen for a reason. There's a reason why they didn't take our offer. Of course, ever since then, we've seen that the number has dropped. So obviously they're not able to sell it for the price that they're asking for, because it is astronomically high for what it is. But I think it is just because of the location of the home. But anyway, so I'll agree with her that things happen for a reason. Things don't work out for a reason. There are a lot of things that have happened in my life, a lot of bad things that have happened in my life, and I know that it happened for a reason, and I know that now that I'm older, now that I've gone through it, now that I've seen where my life has gone since. And it can be anything as tiny as, I don't know, not getting a specific job that you wanted, or a relationship not working out, or a friendship not working out, because there, in my opinion, I think there is such a thing as breaking up when it comes to friendships, because sometimes you either grow apart or something happens and it's an unforgivable thing and it's an unforgettable thing, so you just go your separate ways. And a lot of these tiny little things have happened in order for me to get to where I am today. And while I have lost people in my life as well, that I won't really understand why some of these amazing people who didn't even get to live their life because they passed away really young, that I'll never understand. But other things like putting in an offer on a house and not getting it, things like that, I get. So just wanted to point that out. But anyway, let's get back to it.
About your perspective, you guys. Everything in life is about perspective. You have a choice on how you perceive things. So remember that. Next time you have something crazy happen in your life, life happens for you, not to you, okay? So anyways, and then the next day he came home at 10 o'clock at night and was like, dude, I lost my job. And I should have, by societal standard, right? Like typically, like you'd think a wife would be like, oh my gosh, like, but I just, you know, I was like shocked and sad for him. And I was like, dude, it's okay. Like I've got us. And so that's I think where a lot of these questions from you guys are coming in is like, why did you move? Is your husband going back to work? What are you guys doing? So we moved because if he was not working at that job, we like knew that we would not stay there in the future. Like this was a discussion that we had had. If you're ever not working at this place, we're not staying in this town. Great town, great place, but just not where we could see ourselves long term. And so we took about a week where we didn't worry about anything. We finished painting the house. We painted our basement because I had started kind of remodeling some stuff in the house, throwing up some shiplap. We tore out some carpet to match the hard floors in the master bedroom and changed out light fixtures in the ceilings and like just updated and upgraded some stuff in the house because I had told him, I was like, oh, just in case we ever move, right? All these things fell into place perfectly, but so we took about a week off where we just hung out. We played darts out in the garage, we chilled, we did house projects, and then we sat down and started to kind of have that conversation of like, where do we go from here? Like, what do we want to do? If you guys don't know, I have been with a company called Farmasi since August of 2019, and thankfully because of that opportunity, it has allowed us to be in a financial position where he could take as much time as he needed or wanted to figure things out. We're very thankful for that, coming from a place where, you know, I've been a single mom who literally could not afford a gallon of milk and failed as a provider. And I don't say that for people to be like, you didn't fail. No, I literally was failing. Like that was on me. Like it was my responsibility to provide financially for my children, and I wasn't doing a good job of that. That's on me. So it's okay. It is what it is. It sucked. And it was a hard time, but you know, like nothing in life is permanent. Things can be temporary, and thankfully that was. And I'm grateful for it looking back because it taught me a lot of life lessons. But anyways, so he took some time to figure it out. And when we started talking about where we would want to move, we talked about all these areas. We were talking different areas of Idaho, parts of Utah, you know, just all these like different places. And I told him, because I'm really big on intuition, right? Like really big on that. I told him, I said, I don't know why, but I just feel like we're going to be ending up back in this area where we had moved to that town from. And he was like, oh, are you sure? Like, I don't know. And we were like, it'd be cool. Like, we'd love it. But we were like, what's he going to do there? So anyways, fast forward to 2 months, about 9 weeks, 2 months, a little over 2 months. And he got a job offer. He didn't apply for anything. He just got a job offer here. And we came up here. He met with them. He talked to them. And he accepted it. And then we found out, we knew it was going to take some time for them to figure things out with his position, that they were going to be putting him and stuff like that. And then in January, they called us, said, we're ready for you whenever you can get here. So we listed our house in January. We had an offer asking price within 12 hours of listing that. And then I think it was 2 or 3 days later, we came up here and walked through this house. It was the second of the 2 houses that we saw that day. And my husband was like, that's the one. I love it. And I was like, I think it'll be great. And so we are here, and he starts his job next week, which is super exciting. So the long and the short of it is like, we moved for his job, and no, he didn't have to go back to work. He's making that choice, and I fully support it because, like, I don't know if any of you ladies have husbands that are just busy, like you get it. And he's not the busiest of all guys, but even if like you have one like him, like you can understand that like staying at home for too long is hard on them. So he needs his thing. He needs to be able to go do his thing and contribute, and that's important to him. And I fully understand that because when we moved to his hometown for his previous job.
So of course, I have to point it out, but men can have husbands too. So it's not just the ladies, but she probably is just speaking to, maybe most of her audience is women, so that's why she's speaking to her audience that she has. I don't know if she checks her analytics or not, but maybe that's who she's speaking to, and that's why she said ladies. But we all know that men can also have husbands. But I will also say, I forgot to say this in the beginning, but this woman's eyebrows and hair is so freaking cute. I do have to point that out. So like her eyebrows, I wish I could have eyebrows like that. But anyway, that's besides the point. Of course, she mentions that her husband lost her job. So even though he's since gotten a job, they've obviously moved to the location or the town that he has a new job in. But she made it a point to say that because she's working for this company, for this pharmacy company, this MLM company, because she works for this MLM company, they were able to kind of relax for that first week, and they weren't really worried about it because she knows that she'd be able to take care of the family. But not everyone who joins this MLM is going to, first of all, how do we actually know that for sure? We don't know. We haven't seen proof of her tax return or anything like that. We don't know how much she's actually making, how much she's taking home, how much their mortgage was, or anything like that. We don't know that. So we don't know for sure. We're just going off of what she said. But at the same time, not many people, as I'll go over a little bit later, if I remember. If not, the income disclosure statement for pharmacy, it very clearly shows that you will not make a lot of money to be able to cover what she's talking about, her and her husband. Like I said, I don't know what their bills are, but I'm going off of myself and my husband. The salary, the annual, I guess you could say earnings, or the annual, because it's not a salary, but the annual earnings, average annual earnings, you have to be at the tippy top to be making a decent amount of money. So that's something I wanted to mention. But anyway.
His previous job, I had told him, I was like, dude, I'm not a stay-at-home mom. Okay, and I'm not saying, there was a time in my life where I was like, that's all I want. I just want to be a stay-at-home mom who just like can sit around the house and bake cookies with the kids. Like there was a time in my life, even when I met my husband at that time, which we met in, when did we meet? I don't really know. 7 years ago? What year is that? 2014, the very beginning of 2014. And there was a time in my life I wanted that, but I knew that like where my youngest was going to be starting kindergarten in a year, we were living in my in-laws' basement, you guys, at that time. Okay, like my in-laws are fantastic people. I appreciate the heck out of them, but that's not ideal when you're newlyweds with kids. It's just not. Like, can you imagine all the fun we had? And so, like that was not an ideal situation. And I knew that like for us to be able to afford to buy a house at that time, I was going to need to contribute financially, and I needed to find a way to do it from home because, before network marketing, I worked full-time. I worked full-time for a doctor's office and OBGYN to be exact. I loved my job. I love what I did. And I worked full-time for 21 grand a year, which is hard when half of that is going toward daycare, like real hard. And so I knew that when we moved, I didn't want to put my kids back in daycare, and that like it wouldn't even make sense financially. Like it just wouldn't make sense for us at all. So I had a friend reach out to me and was like, come do this with me. And I had every reason why I would suck at it, every reason why I couldn't. First of all, I never even knew it was on social media back then. I thought it was like when the Mary Kay and Avon and Tupperware ladies would go knocking door to door at my house when I was a kid to talk to my mom. I thought that's what I was going to have to do. Like literally was like prepared to go knocking door to door. That's how like not in the loop I was with direct selling back then, network marketing, whatever you want to call it. And, but I was prepared for that. But then I found out it was on social media. And then I got really even actually more nervous about that, because if you have ever known anyone who's divorced with kids in a situation like that, you understand the reasons for social media being really locked down. And so I was really nervous to try to do this with a very private social media. I had about 200 or 300 friends on Facebook. It was all people I personally knew, and then less than that followers on Instagram, probably like 150 to 200 followers on Instagram, because I only accepted people like I knew, right? For personal reasons, fair enough. But I also was someone who was willing to do whatever it took, and I made a promise to myself. I'm try not to get emotional, but I just always do when I talk about this. If you've ever been in a position where you struggle financially to even put a gallon of milk in the fridge, and you get out of that, you crawl out of that hole, which is hard as hell to do sometimes, then you make that promise to yourself to never get to that spot again, right? I crawled out of that hole by applying for jobs that I was not qualified for. I had no experience in the medical field. I didn't know what I was doing, but I applied for the jobs. I got them. I remember getting my first job that was full-time with insurance for my kids, which was like the biggest deal ever, right? Huge deal. And that job helped me crawl out of that hole. I could pay my bills on time. I didn't have to avoid checking the mail anymore. I could pay the bills. I still had debt up to my eyeballs, but I could pay the bills, like, right? Like, utilities were paid on time, rent was paid on time. I didn't have to call my mom and dad and be like, can you help with like the lot rent for the trailer this month? Because like I can't afford it. Guys, it was like $200 a month. And I couldn't afford it. Like, how sad is that? It's so sad. It's so sad. But I crawled out of that hole with my 9-to-5. And so then when we moved, I told my husband, I was like, I'm gonna contribute financially. I'm going to.
So as you can see, her original situation, she was able to get out of that situation by a 9-to-5. So to anyone who ever, if you recognize who this person is, please don't say what her name is in the comment section, because your comment will be deleted. That's not the purpose of this video. But to anyone who will ever watch some of these reps, pay attention to what they're saying, because right here, she's saying that the 9-to-5 was able to help her crawl out of this hole. And another thing I wanted to point out is earlier in her video, she said that she was a failure because she wasn't able to provide for her family. I don't believe that she was a failure, because she, as we're learning more and more about her situation, she was trying. She applied to jobs, like she said, that she wasn't qualified for. She got a job. While yes, the job wasn't paying her all that much money, she was still trying. So I don't view that as being a failure. And I'm saying that not only because of, this rep and how she feels about it, but to anyone watching this, because there might be some people who are really, really struggling, and for whatever reason, they come across this video and maybe they'll take that and think of themselves as a failure. But I think that if you're making strides and you're kind of taking the steps in the right direction to better yourself, to better your situation, I don't view that as failure. Yeah, does it suck? Absolutely. It freaking sucks. And as you can see, she still gets emotional about it, even though this was years ago. She still gets emotional about it. But she learned from that time. She was able to find a 9-to-5 that helped her pay the bills. She was able to get out of that situation. So I don't view it as a failure, because she was trying. So that's something I wanted to say about that. But again, pay attention to what these reps say whenever they pitch their whys or whenever they talk about their rags to riches story. Because clearly, her rags to riches story started off with a 9-to-5. It didn't start with the MLM. It started with the 9-to-5. The 9-to-5 helped her get back on her feet. The 9-to-5 was able to help her pay bills. Even if she said that she was still in debt, but she was able to pay her bills. She was in a better situation. In addition, obviously, she is targeting moms or parents, people who are putting their kids through daycare, because daycare does get expensive. And she said that half of her salary was going towards daycare. So that's why she wanted to find something where she could work from home and make sure that they weren't paying for daycare, because it's an expense. It's a very large expense. Then at one point, and I don't think that she meant it this way, but she said that at one point she really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and that that's really no longer the case now. She wants to contribute to the family. And to some people, like I said, I don't think she was trying to be condescending about it, but it almost seemed a little condescending, whether it was a conscious thing or not, because there are people out there who want to be stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home dads. That's what they want to do. That's totally fine. But to make it seem like, oh, if you're a stay-at-home parent, you're not contributing to the family, because she keeps talking about how she wanted to contribute. Well, what you can say is she is contributing to the family because she's raising children. Having kids and raising kids is not easy. There have been, I've already talked about this previously, but there have been studies out there. There have been articles that have come out that moms deserve a 6-figure salary, stay-at-home moms, because of all of the work that they do, the hours that they work, and all of that. So being a stay-at-home mom is still, in my opinion, at least this is my opinion, is still contributing to the family. Probably, that she's talking about contributing financially, so I get that, but I never want anyone who's watching this who is a stay-at-home mom to feel like they're not contributing because all they're doing is raising the kids. And note my sarcasm on that, but you are enough. You are contributing enough. You take care of a human being, if not multiple human beings. So that in itself is contributing. I do understand where she's coming from with the whole work ethic, because that's something that as soon as we found out that I was pregnant, that was something that in my head was kind of like, well, I've never just relaxed. I've never not worked. I've been working since I was 15 years old because that was the legal age. Well, I was working and babysitting before that, but legally I was working. My first job was at a grocery store, at the local grocery store, and I was 15 years old. I've been working ever since. So to me, not working is just, it's a very unfamiliar territory for me, which is why we have certain things that I'm still going to be working, but I'm going to be working from home for our business. So there are other options to work from home. I know Amazon has work from home options. I know that there are a lot of, Alonda from the Recovering Humbot, she works from home. So there are companies that have the option for you to work from home. It's not just MLMs, but I have gone off on a tangent. So let's get back into this video.
I don't know how much, but here's my plan. And originally my goal was to make an extra $300 a month so that I could afford to pay for a new car. And I had been in network marketing for less than a month when we did that. And it was really freaking cool. I had never had a new car before in my entire life. I had always had used and really just high miles and old reliable, right? Like old reliable, my Honda Odyssey with 260,000 miles. She treated me well. She clapped out right after we traded her in, so that was good timing. But I started out with that as my goal, and it's transformed over time to way bigger. But it snowballed, right? It snowballed from like wanting to make enough money to pay for a car payment, to my mortgage, to getting out of debt, which we did fully last year with the exception of the house. And then my why went from, being able to get out of debt to working so hard that my husband will forever have the choice if he wants to work or not. And then to give my family everything that I could ever dream of. And I can honestly say that had I not followed my gut, which led me here to pharmacy, like we would be in a very different position than we are right now. And I will forever remain humble and remember where I come from, right? Like I'm that single mom in that single white trailer. I should be a statistic, right? Like I should be a statistic. I was a single mom in a single wide trailer. I've been on food stamps. I've been on WIC. I've been on Medicaid. I've been on government assistance. I should be a statistic, and I'm not because of network marketing. It is what it is. Not everybody's going to like hearing that, because I know that a lot of people look at network marketing as, oh, that's a pyramid scheme, which, by the way, those are illegal. No, it's not.
She should have been a statistic. Well, there are people who will work even harder than she has worked, and they still will not get out of that situation. There are people that will work their asses off and will still not be able to have the same things that she has. So that's something that we need to keep in mind, that just because you work hard, that's why so many people were outraged by what Rachel Hollis said a few months back with how she worked her ass off and that's how she got all of the things that she got. Well, there are a lot of people who work their asses off more than Rachel Hollis does, and they're still not at the same level that she is. Notice how she said that her why went from getting out of debt to be able to do all of these other things as well. So she talked about how she was able to buy a new car. She was used to always getting cars that had high miles on it and stuff like that, which there's nothing wrong with that. Because some people, they make that decision, even though they have the money to buy a brand new car, they make the decision to get other cars and live below their means because that's just what they prefer to do. There's nothing wrong with living below your means or making sure that you're not buying brand new things or these big giant houses, because if you can't afford it, why put on this show that you can? Because then you're just going to be struggling. To me, it doesn't make sense. Some of these people that buy these houses and then they can't afford it, it's like, well, if you can't afford it, you knew in the beginning that you couldn't afford it. Or if they buy like a brand new car, you knew you couldn't afford it. So why did you even do that? So there's nothing wrong with living below your means. But I have rambled enough. Let's get back to it.
By the way, those are illegal. No, it's not. Or it's a scam, or I know someone who got ripped off doing that, da da da. And that's a huge reason that I love Farmasi, is because it's not a ripoff. It's not a scam. I've never been part of one, but I've been part of opportunities where it is expensive to join, and at Farmasi you can sign up for $20. $20. That's how much I paid to sign up. I didn't buy the extra kit. I know. Top leader. My team is the sixth highest ranked team in the entire United States and Puerto Rico. And I was that girl who was sick and tired of spending money on kits and not making money. I will say I've had companies where I've had one company where I did make 6 figures. I made really good money, but the others, it was just like, like it was just okay. And I had said, I was like, I'm not going to overinvest in this one, because what if it doesn't pan out? Because the company I was with right before that, it wasn't panning out. It wasn't contributing financially the way that I needed it to, the way that I wanted it to. And that doesn't mean it doesn't for other people, it just wasn't for me. And so I paid $20 to sign up. And here I am, and I can truly say, like, it has literally changed my family's life. We just closed on this house. Sorry for like the boxes and the mess, but.
So she says that her team is the 6th ranking team in the United States and Puerto Rico. But she also said pyramid schemes are illegal. But I made an entire video dedicated to that topic if you're interested in watching that. It's from over a year ago. If I remember, I'll try to link it in the description box. But I always have this one article that's on the FTC's website linked below of what is a pyramid scheme versus a legal MLM. So I always have that linked at, I think it's at the bottom, somewhere at the bottom. I always have that article linked. So if you want to learn more, if you want to read up on that, then go right ahead, research it on your own time as well. But just because pyramid schemes are illegal doesn't necessarily mean that your MLM is not operating as a pyramid scheme. There's someone, I forget who said it, and I've said this in my videos before, and I don't know where it originated from, but I don't have to do meth to know that meth's not good for you. So just because something is illegal, it doesn't necessarily mean that this MLM is not pushing the limits a little bit, or that this MLM, because it takes a while for the FTC to deem something a pyramid scheme. If you want to take a look at Advocare, they were deemed a pyramid scheme, but they were talking about how they were an MLM this entire time. So just because your MLM has not been deemed a pyramid scheme doesn't mean that they're not unethical or that they might be breaking the rules behind the scenes. So that's something that when these reps say that, it's that argument, there's nothing to that argument besides, oh, well, pyramid schemes are illegal, so we can't be a pyramid scheme. Well, maybe you just haven't been deemed one yet. I'm not calling Farmasi a pyramid scheme or anything like that, but if you're talking about how your team is the number 6 spot within the US and Puerto Rico, that clearly shows that all of your income, that how far you've gotten with the company is mostly from your team, mostly from recruiting. Because have we heard her talk about the products yet? No. The first thing she said about this was that her team is number 6, the 6th ranking team. But you haven't talked about the products. I will give it to her though. Her Instagram does have tutorials and stuff like that about the makeup. So let's just get back to it.
How sorry for like the boxes and the mess, but we're still unpacking. We just moved in 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago tomorrow. And it's just crazy. But I have a lot of gratitude in my heart for this opportunity. This $20 kit right here has changed everything for my family. It's the reason that my husband has been able to go to dirt biking the last 2 days. On a Monday and a Tuesday, like just for fun. It's 3 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, just for fun. It's the reason that we were able to go get behavioral counseling for one of my kids and get some diagnoses that we needed and some help that we needed. That one makes me cry. Because as a mom, like, to see your child struggle and not be able to afford to do anything about that, so hard, right? Like, if you know, you know. And so that one is huge to me, to be able to give my kids everything they want and need, and not just like tangible possessions, not just a longboard and a scooter and a dirt bike and the fun stuff, like help, right? Like counseling, which helped him tremendously, was huge. When I say that I'm so grateful for this, it's because it's done so much more. It's not the cars. It's not the house. It's not the bags. It's not the belts. It's not the stuff that you see network marketers who are successful and at the top sharing about. It is so much more than lavish Louis Vuitton bags and Gucci belts. It is so much more than the fancy cars and the nice homes. It's the counseling for the kids, right? It's the groceries on the table. I have had to sell stuff on yard sale sites to put gas in my car before. It's being able to do that without checking your balance first. It is so much more, you guys. It is so much more. And because of this $20 kit, we've changed everything. So
I wonder if it also has something to do with, and I'm sorry if you hear the tip tapping, but the girls are coming back in the room. But I wonder if it also has something to do with the fact that your husband was also working. It's not just you, your husband, you had a 2-income household. And I'm not trying to be condescending because obviously her getting the proper help for her children is a huge deal, because I mean, I can't imagine having to go through that and finally being able to get the help that your child needs and being able to see them excel and do better and stuff like that. So I'm not trying to be condescending because I'm glad that she was able to get the help for her child. But she's targeting people who are in this. Notice how she said that it's not about all of the things that you normally see with network marketers when you see the Louis Vuitton bags, the cars, the houses, and all of that. Because we see a lot of that, a lot of the showy stuff like that, especially with like the Monet reps and stuff. Those are the ones that we mostly see that kind of stuff with. But she made it a point to say that it's not all about that it's about being able to put food on the table without checking your bank account first, that it's about being able to put your child through counseling and for them to be able to excel and do better. So obviously she has her own target market. She has the people that she wants to have her story speak to. And she does get emotional about it, which that helps in a sense, because I genuinely do think that she's getting emotional about it because I think she's being genuine here. I might be wrong, but I'm also gonna give her the benefit of the doubt that she's being genuine. But that, and being that vulnerable on social media is, I mean, it makes you relatable, and it makes people kind of connect with you on a different level. So in a sense, she's also using that to her advantage. But, and I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but way earlier in the video, she talked about when she was going through a divorce and she had a private social media presence. She didn't want to have it be public and stuff like that because she was going through a divorce and everything. Well, that's something that some of these people don't think about, because when you become part of an MLM, the first thing that my uplines told me is make all of your accounts public. So it wasn't a big deal for like my Instagram, because my Instagram is part of my blog anyway. My blog is a public thing, so that wasn't really a big deal. But making my Facebook private or public when it was private ever since I opened up a Facebook, which was 2005, 2006 is when I opened up a Facebook account, because I was in college and that's when like it came out. I preferred MySpace over Facebook, but of course MySpace just kind of dwindled away and then Facebook kind of took over, but and became the beast that it is. But they tell you to make all of these things public. So what if you are going through something and you just don't want your information to be out there for the world? You have to put your life on the internet because you have to be able to sell the lifestyle. That's how you're going to make the most money within these MLM companies. Not by just selling the product, but by building a team. People react better to seeing the lifestyle, seeing you get a new car, seeing you get a new house, being able to, like she said, get counseling for the kids. It's all about just creating this lifestyle and showing people the lifestyle in order for them to sign up for the MLM.
$20 kit. We've changed everything. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's in the kit. Let's go there. So for $20, you're going to get 50% discount on all of your own products. You are going to get 50% minimum personal sales commission. There's team building commission. If you want information on that, I can send some charts to you. I don't go into that because it's really complex. There's like 11 ways you can get paid. It's really awesome. We have car bonuses. We have cash bonuses. We have trip incentives. We have leadership bonuses. We have group bonus. We have like all kinds of really cool stuff here, okay? So when you sign up, you're going to get this really cute little kit, okay? And what's inside of it.
Notice how she said that there's so many different ways to get paid from Farmasi. The bonuses, and she talked about leadership bonuses, group bonuses, cars, and did she really talk all that much about the product? No, not really. So do you make more money off of selling the product or off of building a team? Because you just said that pyramid schemes are illegal. Okay.
What's inside of it is this welcome letter. It's bilingual, English and Spanish. You're going to get this opportunity pamphlet, which this is the chart I will send you if you are wanting to know. This is the team building commission, compensation, okay? We're the highest paid compensation plan out there. I challenge you to that. It goes over the history of the company. So the company has been in Europe for 70 years and in the US for only 2. It's very quickly growing here. So now's a really good time to jump in on that. Like I said, they go over everything. So they talk about your personal volume, your group volume, your personal bonus, group bonus, your bonus levels, your leadership bonus, title stuff, what all these things mean. It's a little glossary, right? They go over the welcome program, which this one's changed a little bit. This is an old one right here, but the welcome program, if you want information on that, I can get you to. You can earn free products and cash in your first 4 months with Farmasi when you're qualified for that. So that is super duper cool. It discusses things like retail margin, how to like maximize your profits, stuff like that. And then it just goes over all the nitty gritty that I'm not going to go over right now because I could talk about it for a really long time. You're also going to get a bunch of free samples in your kit. Those will vary depending on what's available in the warehouse. You're going to get some cute little gift bags that you can use for customers or for whatever you want. There is a color chart that will help you with picking the right colors for people, foundation, lipsticks, things like that. This will really guide you through that. If you're like me, when I was new to network marketing and I joined my first makeup business, I was like, I knew nothing about makeup, you guys, like nothing. Like, I need to post like a glow up picture from then and now, and it's like, holy cow. I couldn't even like correctly color match my own foundation. So I was like really stressed and worried, and I didn't know what skincare was. Like I used a makeup wipe. I didn't wash my face. So I knew nothing. And the thought of like helping other people with that was like ah. And so having something like this is a really good tool if you're feeling like overwhelmed about that. We also have a skincare guide, which is really helpful too. And there was something else. Oh, and a free website for life. We never have any fees of any kind. You're not required to purchase a certain amount of product every month. Any quota that we have, which to remain active, this is the only one. To remain active, you have to have 125 personal volume every 3 months, and that can come from customer orders. You are not required to spend a dime. So you do not have to overinvest to make money here at all. Like, let me repeat, you do not have to overinvest to make money with Farmasi. And with a 50% personal sales commission, guys, like that is huge. So if you have a friend or a neighbor or your mom or someone place a $100 order.
So you say that there's no requirement, but then you follow it with saying, oh, but you have to keep 125 PV and it can come from your customer sales. So does that mean that it can also come from your personal sales? Because then if you have to stay active, and let's say that you're not able to sell all of that within that 3 consecutive months, then you can just buy it yourself. That's what I'm getting at from this. That's what I'm getting at.
Or someone place a $100 order for products, you're gonna make $50. So it's crazy cool. We have all kinds of different programs and bonuses, incentives, things like that that you can qualify for. If you guys have questions about it, feel free to DM me. My inbox is always open. I'd love to chat with you guys. When I say that this has changed my life, guys, oh, you get a catalog too. By the way, I didn't show you that, sorry. But when I say that this has literally changed my family's life, that's not just me saying that to sound fluffy and feel good. It literally has. We've come a very long way, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and that's why I'm so passionate about talking about this. I've had opportunities in the past where I've been excited to talk about them and wanted to share them, but I genuinely love the products here, and the opportunity is one of a kind, and I've never had an opportunity do so much for me and my family as I have this one, and that is why I'll forever keep shouting this from the rooftops and telling all my friends about it and telling you about it, because if you're ready to jump in and do the dang thing, then like let's go, let's do it. I was talking earlier on a Zoom call with some gals who are thinking about joining, and a lot of times people have the hesitation of like, I don't know much, like I'm new or I don't know. And I'm just going to say, like, ignorance on fire is everything, guys. When I started out in this industry, I knew nothing. I thought I was going to knock door to door to hand out catalogs like the ladies did when I was a kid. I knew nothing. I had to figure everything out on my own. I self-educated. I figured it out. Ignorance on fire is huge. And don't compare yourself. If you're playing that comparison game, like, I know so-and-so and she does great. Like, don't compare yourself, because I can tell you, I can't count on these two hands how many times I have witnessed someone come in with zero experience, not knowing a thing about what they're doing, who had ignorance on fire, hustled their guts out. And I'm telling you that people that have knowledge but don't apply it don't go far. People who have hustle and not knowledge, they're still gonna go. Does that make sense? So you can know nothing but come in and hustle, and you will get there. You will get there. If you are willing, hungry, and coachable, you're in a good spot. So if you're willing, hungry, and coachable, you're interested in this opportunity, feel free to DM me. I'd love to chat with you and answer any questions you guys might have. I'm really transparent, a total open book, so I'd love to talk with you. I'm gonna go. I hope you guys have.
So that's the end of the video. I'm gonna scooch back over into the middle. But so yeah, that's the end of the video. And she, of course, said how the compensation plan is very complex. She did say that they have the highest paying one, and that she challenges people to that. How many times do we hear that though, that these reps have the best compensation plan? We have the best compensation plan. We hear it all the time. Whenever I research into certain deep dives that I'm doing, I always hear that we're not like the other MLMs and we have the best compensation plan. But do you really? Because all of you say the same exact thing. But again, just like she said, the compensation plans are usually complex. There's a reason why they're complex. It's so that people just sign up. It's so that people see it and go, oh yeah, I'll figure it out as I go. It's to confuse people enough where they think, oh, you know what, it's fine. I'll sign up and it's fine. Some people will look at it and think of it as a red flag and be like, okay, well, why is it that they're spending X amount of time talking about building a team and there's 20 pages worth of explanation in the compensation plan about building a team and all of the commissions and the bonuses that you get from that, but there's only one page talking about how to sell the products and the commissions that you get from the products. So I feel like that's a red flag for some people, but that's why I make these videos, to also kind of be able to put some kind of education out there and to have people, before you just sign on that dotted line like how I did, do you think I read through all of that? No, I did not. And I learned from my mistakes. I lost money. So that's why I make these videos, so that people think critically, so that people, before they just sign on that dotted line, they look into it. Look into the company, look into the compensation plan. Try to understand the compensation plan. If you can't understand it, and if a rep makes it even more complicated when they try to explain it to you, I mean, I would take that as a red flag, especially if they have more ways to earn as you build a team as opposed to the products. And of course, she did talk about how this has changed her family's life. We hear that a lot too. So this is nothing new. It's literally the same narrative, but a different MLM and a different MLM rep. That's literally all that it is. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time. This is Monica reporting to you live from a highway. Bye.